universal.
How I love you, Lord.
So universal.
This life, it has no limits. First I dream it, then I'm in it. And I'm learning how to spin it, Lord. So I know that all is well.
All is well now.
Heaven is here.
There is no hell now.
Nothing to fear.
No burning smell now.
No burning smell. My sweet Lord.
Hallelujah.
Oh, my Lord.
Hallelujah.
My sweet Lord.
My hat's off to ya.
I'm worthy and deserving of all the good you're serving.
Can't resist ya.
And when we're serving, Lord, how you steer me true, my Lord.
Towards the clearing.
Oh, my Lord.
You're my power steering.
My sweet Lord.
No need for fearing.
How I love you, Lord. Hare Rama, Lord.
You're the cat's pajama.
You're the cat's pajama. I was trying to keep a straight face. My sweet Lord, as if it's a serious song. Oh, my Lord, my sweet Lord. Thank you. Bodie and Jean-Marie Grimet.
To do just that. First of all, I'd like to introduce Joe Hughes and Paula Karp, who are taking the lead in this great celebration. Thank you, Joe. We are one. We truly are one. Ann Seymour is taking part in is taking charge of the kitchen. Would you please, Ann, stand up? Are you here? Okay. Johnny Van for baskets. And you can sign up to make a basket right back over here, and you can see Johnny for the details. Thank you. Suzanne Karch for the bonnet contest. I'm not sure she's here. If you haven't been part of the bonnet contest, we bring these hats that we decorate ourselves with our own unique sense of humor, and then we have a contest. It's really fun. So, please sign up to bring food. We will serve so that we can serve many, many more people. Again, all the sign-up sheets are right back here. Secondly, Victoria Castle is coming on the 27th of April. She is such a powerful author and a speaker, and she will be giving a workshop after service on letting go of struggle. Is there a sign-up sheet for that as well? On this table as well. Okay, thank you. Then, spring classes are coming out. Reverend Karyl, our own Reverend Karyl, is teaching 2 classes. One is letting go of negative emotions. This is a class that is taught during the day on Wednesdays, and you do not need a prerequisite to take this class. The second class is... We all have that prerequisite, don't we? At times. Also, Reverend Karyl is teaching Roots, which is the study of the founders, the background, all of the people who have contributed to our philosophy, and that is on Thursday evenings. And for that, one needs to have had foundations or a foundational class. Also, our Reverend Sarah is doing her breakfast, conversation, and coffee at El Fornillo restaurant from 8 to 9:30 next Thursday morning. And the topic will be, why settle for limits when more awaits you? Thank you so much. Reverend Karyl will finish the announcements.
Yes, I will. Thank you. So this being the first Sunday of the month, it is the Partnership Sunday. Our little article about our partnership with our sister center in Ukraine is on the back of the bulletin. I want to say good morning to Reverend Barbara. You can all turn around and wave to Reverend Barbara. She's watching. And anybody in Ukraine at 8 o'clock tonight, it's 8 o'clock now, tonight in Ukraine, I'll have to learn how to say hi in Russian. Every first Sunday we have just a couple of minutes about our partnership to let you know about what's happening. And a lot is happening, as you know. In Ukraine, there are 2 centers out of 4 that are in Crimea. And so now the laws of Crimea are very different because it's now Russia. And so the philosophy, however, is the same in Science of Mind. And so Reverend Barbara Skypes with her people over there in Ukraine most days to teach the Science of Mind philosophy, to move everybody towards peace and out of conflict, and dealing with whatever the new laws are in Russia. There's a challenge in Crimea. So we send our love, our awareness, even though we can't imagine what's going on over there. And so just to offer our own encouragement and love and gratitude for those brave people teaching and living the Science of Mind. On the table right over there beside the events table are some papers and pens, and I encourage you to simply write some notes of encouragement and love to our sister congregants in Cherkasy. They in Ukraine, they actually do not call it a church there. They can't. It is a teaching center. So if you want to use a word, use center instead of church. And please just put hearts and love and kisses, and it's the same in any language. So that's one of my announcements. The second one, this is a wonderful idea from your president, Gail Durkin, and a manifestation from our wonderful graphic artist, Pat Malone. For the first quarter of the year, we have all of the takeaways. The takeaways are in a little pile right over there on the education table. These are the themes of the week, the Sundays, the things that you can say to people who know nothing about what you do on Sunday morning. And these are all simple statements. You can take it away and use it as you would like to. And my last announcement, which Marilyn took away from me. Oh my goodness. This is really keeping me up at night, actually. You have a huge surprise next week and the week after that. We are going to try a whole new service. It's going to be face towards the stage. We're going to have big PowerPoint with big photographs, and it's going to look really downtown. We have changed it's going to be beautiful. We have changed the order of the service, and I know that you love this arc so that you can see people's faces. We're going to arc the chairs towards the stage, and so we're going to do this sort of as a little dress rehearsal on Palm Sunday, and then we're going to do it again on Easter. And then the idea Bodhi and I have is for big Sundays like Mother's Day and those coming up, we'll do that until we get the kinks worked out, and if we like it, that'll be our new way. But next Sunday is the birth of the new service, so you don't want to miss that, right? So come on and come next Sunday. So that's my third and last announcement, except to say, if you're here for the first time, welcome, warm welcome. We hope you feel right at home, and I would love to shake your hand and give you a big hug after the service. So now the message. Going over to the message board. So this whole year, we are looking deeply into an essay that was written by our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, What We Believe. Now, even Dr. Holmes would say himself, take what you want and leave the rest. So what we're doing is we are saying this year, these are the teachings. These are all of the teachings. And you can be a Buddhist and believe these teachings. You can be a Catholic and believe these teachings, perhaps. You could be... you can... No, you could. Except that, Science of Mind is really a do-it-yourself denomination. If you don't do it yourself, nobody's going to do it for you. So we've divided the essay into 12 statements. This is the fourth month, and the fourth statement. We're right here. We believe that heaven is within us, and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. So let me put that up here so you can see it even a little bit better. Except you're going to be able to see it so much better next week. So, the word for April is heaven. And I know that we have many interpretations of heaven in this room. It's a very personal thing. And it's impacted by what we were taught in Sunday school, and if we've been with people who have passed, right at the moment of their passing, that impacts what we think about heaven. And so I think it's perfectly fine if we have some, if we're thinking about this right now and saying, well, I've got some ideas about heaven that I actually don't like very much. So you can let go of them because, we can change beliefs, and all it does is shift reality. Let me say that's a profound statement. Let me say it again. You can change your beliefs, and all it does is change your reality. It's kind of an ironic statement. It's like your reality is shifted. Let me give you an example, very simple example. Let's say that like I used to live in New York City, if you can imagine that, only for a year. But I walked through some neighborhoods that some people said weren't safe. And so I would feel unsafe. That was my reality. My reality was I was unsafe when I was walking through these neighborhoods. Then I made friends with some people in those neighborhoods, and they said, oh my gosh, this is so safe. I would walk around here any time of the night or day. There are so many people that have taken care of me and have, directed me to what I need. Everybody is friendly here. It's really kind of like a little oasis of a heavenly environment right here. And so I changed my belief about those neighborhoods, and all of a sudden my reality shifted. Where my reality was, this is unsafe, then my reality became, this is safe, because I changed my belief. Now that's a simple belief, and somehow we think that changing religious beliefs is different, but it's not. Facebook, which is now becoming one of my favorite sources for talks, there was somebody that posted who said she used to be some regular kind of denominational religious person, and then she changed into a Wiccan Buddhist. And so there were comments about this. And so someone actually said, "You can't change religions, you'll go to hell." So I say this to you because somewhere deep down inside, especially if you were raised in a denomination that says you have to believe this, you have to believe this, you can't believe anything else. If you come here and we say, change your beliefs, all it does is change your reality. It's like, I don't know if I can, but let me tell you, you can, and you will not go to hell. You will not. In fact, it will not happen. In fact, you can't really go to hell, just like you can't really go to heaven. You find yourself in one or the other occasionally, but you can't actually go there because there's no there. It's all here. So, this is the teaching. And I'll tell you what heaven is not first, according to our teaching. And this is what works for me. This is what I believe. Heaven is not up there. Heaven is not after we die. Heaven is not eternal rest, nor is it eternal reward. What heaven is a state of being. In this denomination, we use the word consciousness a lot. It's a consciousness. It is an awareness, and you can even call it a mood. If you're a beginner, call it a mood, the heaven mood. And this mood is so good, it is beyond words. It is so scrumptious and wonderful, and it is available to us. And what this quote says here is that it is available to us by degrees, according to how we become conscious of it. And so the talk title today is How to Find Heaven. And I'm going to tell you how to shift your consciousness so that you can find heaven more and more often. Because as we seek it and find it, as we seek it and nurture the belief in it, as we move in our wishing and praying and awareness towards what we believe is the best mood we can ever even imagine, what happens is that it becomes magnified in our experience. So our wonderful altar here by Lori Greer is about some symbols that actually assist people in finding heaven. There's the Buddha, there's angels, there's those wonderful calla lilies, and everything. The altar kind of looks like it's going up because we can't help but think, some of us, that heaven is up there, but as I said, there's no there. It's just that it's so formless that it takes over the form in our lives when we allow it to. So experiencing heaven is actually a lot like training for something, like training for a triathlon, or training for a debate tournament, or practicing for performing a concerto. It's establishing a habit and then working the habit. That's it. it's not all it, but it's a big part of it. So what happens is that our mood or our consciousness or awareness is mostly a habit. I mean, you're about as peaceful and happy or as cranky and as unfulfilled today as you were yesterday. And it'll be the same tomorrow unless you change your belief. I mean, then your reality changes, as I told you. So there's a radio ad on now that is so, I don't even know what they're selling because the spiritual principle is so true. You might have heard it. It's about a cranky boss. And he is like yelling out positive statements in a really ornery voice. Like, oh, there's the phone again. There's another happy customer. And then the narrator says, he's usually angry and it's hard to break habits. And that's true. That's true. And what we're doing when we are going for heaven is that we are establishing a new habit. We're establishing a new habit after the belief that something is possible is established. So first we change the belief, and then we work on the habit, okay? So it's kind of like you have to believe that it is even possible for you to participate in a triathlon before you practice for it. You have to believe it is even possible for you to debate and get in your mind all of those many details. I debated in high school and college, and so you go with files like, now they bring them on, rollies. There's so many files, so many details. You have to believe you can actually think about all that stuff before you practice. And then you have to have the idea that I actually could play a concerto on whatever instrument you choose, and then you practice doing that. So the belief in heaven is kind of the same thing. The belief that heaven is available right now is actually the leap of faith that some of us need to make. That it's not after, it's not some other time, it's right now. And so to have that leap of faith that I've never believed this before, it's kind of an odd belief, but I'm going to try it on, that heaven is available to me right now. I'll talk a little bit more about what that might feel like at first, because there are doorways that take us from our day-to-day experience into a world that is so radiant, so sublime, so shining, so exalted, and we slip into there from our day-to-day experience. It's like we're going along. All of a sudden, everything gets shimmery, shiny, everything feels better than you could possibly describe, and it can be a very, very, very ordinary moment. William Blake, in this, this will be familiar to you. To see a world in a grain of sand and heaven in a wildflower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hands and eternity in an hour. What this says to me is that the experience of heaven comes from ordinary moments, and that if we can make the leap that heaven is right where we are right now, that we have a better chance of experiencing it right now, and the only time that you ever will experience heaven is in a now moment. So to leap into the belief that heaven is now and I can experience it. Let's say that. Heaven is now and I can experience it. That's the belief that you nurture. Heaven is now and I can experience it. So we find ourselves in this supreme, sublime sense of well-being beyond description. And with it is the experience that I am connected to everything, that you do really experience Indra's net, that you see all these shimmering diamonds and you are connected to all of them. And you experience oneness, and you experience non-judgment, and you experience, I have had this a few times, and it is so beautiful that it's what it's what I seek. It's what everybody seeks, I think. But I practice so I can have it more. So the doorways are not hard to find. And I'm going to talk about what the doorways are. But they don't always look like we think they're going to. And neither do they operate exactly like we think they're going to. It's kind of like a Alice in Wonderland kind of thing. But what we do is we make ourselves available to heaven. And then it happens. So the lesson here is about examples of doorways to heaven. So the first one, the one that is kind of foolproof, if you keep doing it, really, are spiritual practices. And so if you ever have a chance to take a class, we teach spiritual practices in all classes, but especially the one that's called Spiritual Practices is the one you should sign up for when it's taught next. So every class, every practitioner time you talk to a practitioner, every movement in our mind to contact our source or to get close to our source or remember our source or remember that we're one with our source, that's a spiritual practice. And so there's prayer, meditation, there's giving, there's service, there's study, there's song, and then there's cooking, and then there's dance, and then there's any loving act that you do consistently for someone else is spiritual practice. But the thing is, you have to repeat it. You have to practice it. We recommend every day, every single day, spiritual practice, so that the habit of praying or meditating or loving kindness is the habit of inviting Spirit into our lives. And so what happens is that if we sit and we meditate for years and years and years, then one day we are sitting and the universe opens up. And we're there. We're there in heaven. And then, although it doesn't happen every single time, it has happened once, and we know that it can again. So I want to share with you a little bit from this book called Prayers of the Cosmos, because I'm going to read to you about the Aramaic word for heaven, which is Shmeya. And anybody that's been here any length of time, when we talk about the Aramaic, I remind you that the Aramaic language is a holy language that is essentially not spoken all that much anymore. Just little tiny pockets of people speak Aramaic. And ancient Aramaic had many, many, many levels of meaning. So a word could mean a bunch of things. A sound could mean a bunch of things. And so the language is so rich. And this is the language that Jesus is supposed to have spoken. And so for this book is about the Lord's Prayer. So we are in the very first statement here that our Father which art in heaven. So the which art in heaven is let me see if I can say it. Debushmeya. And so the Shmeya part of it is what sort of means heaven, or what has translated into heaven. It means light, sound, vibration, name, or word. The root shim indicates that which rises and shines in space. And it goes on to say, this shining includes every center of activity, every place we see, as well as the potential abilities of all things. In effect, Shmeya says that the vibration or word by which one can recognize the oneness, God's name, is the universe. This was the Aramaic conception of heaven. So this is like, I read this, I'm looking at the words, and it's very dense. I've sort of translated it myself as light and sound shining through all creation. That's heaven. Light and sound shining through all creation. So the other examples of doorways to heaven besides spiritual practices are actually what I call the staging areas of life on earth. Every one of us has the next 4 staging areas. And it's where we get all our blessings, it's where we get all our challenges, it's where we get our pleasure and our pain on earth. Okay, so you ready for this? These are also doorways to heaven. First one being relationships. Hello. So, all right. we're going to talk. This is yours. This is for you. So our greatest joy and our greatest pain, yes, come through relationships. And so if we persistently love, if we are generous with our heart and our time, if we are patient, if we seek to find God in one another, then miraculously, I'm telling you, the same thing happens. And you're holding hands with your beloved in the produce aisle, and all of a sudden, things go to light and sound shining through all creation. And you're there with the bananas in heaven. Because you have worked this. You have worked relationship. You have had spiritual practice with relationship. You love no matter what. You forgive. You speak clearly. You don't hide things. You don't hide parts of you. All of you is there and obvious. And you speak your hurt and you speak your love over and over and over again. You pray together. You meditate together. And then you get to be in heaven in the produce aisle. So, next, work. Another staging area of life. This is how we express our skills and our wisdom in the world and how we use our divine gifts. And as we master some things and keep practicing, as we know how to do a spreadsheet, as we know how to do a flyer, and as we add love to what we already do, then this becomes an area where we also can experience heaven. So this is a book called Flow, from this professor at the University of Chicago, Mike Csikszentmihalyi. It's a last name that's unbelievable. Anyway, this is what he writes. The best moments usually occur when a person's body or mind is stretched to its limits in a voluntary effort to accomplish something difficult and worthwhile. We have all experienced times when, instead of being buffeted by anonymous forces, we do feel in control of our actions, masters of our own fate. On rare occasions that it happens, we feel a sense of exhilaration, a deep sense of enjoyment that is long cherished and that becomes a landmark in memory for what life should be like. So this happens when we work. And you know, most of us have had the experience that we are doing something that we love and 3 hours has gone by. Where did that go? We were in the moment so completely, so perfectly, so amazingly in heaven through our work that time stood still. And we had light and sound shining through all of creation. Next is a staging area is our physical body, something that we love or hate or go back and forth with. But in this, if we perfect this perfectly amazing vehicle like champion athletes do, in that practice, and this is reported by many athletes, they slip into a zone, a timeless zone, that, you know, it's explained scientifically by endorphins, but it's the same thing. You practice, and you slip into heaven. And you can actually also describe that experience of running or swimming as light and sound shining through all creation. Now, the last one of our staging areas, I'm calling comfort and discomfort. And actually, I'm doing that only for this talk because the topic is supply. It's money. It's how we use our resources in life. And we are either comfortable with our supply, no matter how much it is, or we are not comfortable with our supply. If we are comfortable with our supply and we are generous and we serve others with what we have, we develop a philanthropic consciousness that can actually slip us into heaven. I asked David Ramsey if I could tell this story that happened very soon, right as he was joining this community. He was in a McDonald's and he saw a homeless man who was eating a yogurt, a little eensy yogurt, and looking hungry. And so he bought the man a gift card. And so the employee went over to the man and said, this gift card has been given to you. And before the man even had a moment to feel gratitude, he said, can I use it right now? And so David heard this, and I think it was a heavenly moment for him. He put it up on Facebook, and the words that he used were pretty amazing about what happened. So we can experience heaven through the generosity of our supply. It can also happen when we're uncomfortable or about our money, and our whole supply area of life is characterized by discomfort, fear, anger, lack. That can also be a doorway to heaven if we surrender instead of resist. If we just say, not my will, but thy will be done, or I can't do it, but you can, or I myself can do nothing, and it's the Father within that does the work, and all of a sudden, there we are with the Father, or the law, or the energy, or the source in a heavenly place. So, moving into the conclusion here, we practice, and the result is unpredictable. It's kind of like any of you who took Psych 101. Remember the variable reinforcement schedule with the pigeons? Okay, here's the variable reinforcement schedule. You've got some pigeons in a little cage, and they press on a little lever which lets a pellet of food come down. Now, they go peck, 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 and if they get a pellet of food with 4 pecks, they learn how to do that. Peck, 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 and the food comes. Peck, 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 and the food comes. If it stops, they stop pecking very quickly. If, however, the experiment is 3 pecks and you get some food, 1 peck and you get some food, 15 pecks and you get some food, 43 pecks and you get some food. That is a variable reinforcement schedule. It is like not the same. Those pigeons will peck until they fall over because they think it's coming. Now, God is not about frustrating us, but it seems like reaching heaven is a variable reinforcement schedule. You know, Mother Teresa said God did not speak to her for 14 years. At one stage in her life, she prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed. That was a long time to peck before she got the pellet of spiritual food. She said, 14 years, God did not talk to me. And she kept on praying. I don't think that, I've never heard of that, except Mother Teresa. If we keep doing what we know to do, to express love and to seek after God, to pray and to meditate, to be as heart-opening as we possibly can, we will have those moments of supreme delight where all the world goes away and we are absolutely in heaven. And what this actually is the word of the day, which is grace. So I'm going to tell this story one more time. Many of you have heard it before, but it's such a great story. It's a story that is told by Scott Peck. If you can just meditate if you've heard it already, but this is for you newbies. So Scott Peck, the author of The Road Less Traveled, was on a book tour in the South, and he ordered breakfast in a diner. And he ordered eggs and bacon and toast. So he got eggs and bacon and toast and a pile of white stuff. And so he called the waitress over and he said, "What's that?" And she said, "Oh, them's grits, sir." And he said, "I didn't order grits." And she said, "Oh, sir, that's okay. Grits just comes." he says that is exactly what happens with grace. It just comes. So, the takeaway is supreme, sublime well-being is available to me right now. You believe that, you install that belief, and you practice, and you'll get it. That's a promise. So taking that within now for the inner work. And remembering a time when we experienced light and sound shining everywhere. Remembering a time as odd and unlikely as if you told the story to your neighbor, their jaw would drop. But it happened to you. Heaven just made its way through all of those details of life, and on a street corner or in a produce aisle or in a tattoo parlor, there was heaven. Light and sound shining everywhere. Love overflowing. Peace that is as steady as the breath. Creativity and well-being and generosity of spirit. Joy to make your heart break. It's so full. That is what we can have over and over and over again. Our job is to be available. Our job is to tell ourselves through spiritual practice and through practice through relationships, work, physical health, and supply that God is our source. And then what is revealed to us, the all else, after we have sought first the kingdom of heaven, the all else that is revealed to us is heaven. Blessed be.
Now that deserves a round of applause. Scott, what's your interpretation of heaven?
It's diametrically opposed to everything she just taught.
Oh.
I mean, it's like point, counterpoint. No, I'm teasing. It's just... You want me to do that now?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the second place you perform.
The service has changed. We all have access to the gates of heaven. They're always open like 7-Eleven. You can walk in any time, 24/7. There's no locks on the doors. It's mine and it's yours if you're a Catholic or a Wiccan Buddhist, or a Harbin Hot Springs born-again nudist. Heaven is what your best mood is. You got to make it a habit to relax and not to grab it. First we Take the leap of faith and try it on. Then we train and train for a spiritual triathlon. It may take effort to embrace what's effortless. It's a new habit to abandon all your stress. Seek ye first the kingdom of your consciousness, and you'll get to your shmaya on a wing and a prayer. You can slip and slide your way right into heaven with your sweetheart in the produce section. Light and sound shining through your ego's protection. You just keep pecking away, and your shell will fall away. And then heaven is served in your face, like a bowl of grits or grace. La 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 la. Heaven is served in your face. Thank you. Thank you very much. And you know, I do songs. I do songs for businesses and websites and people and birthdays and weddings and all kinds of creations. And see me at the table over there.
I mean, there's nothing like that spontaneous making up stuff. That is fabulous. God, it takes me so long to do mine, and he just
He just took yours and put a melody to it.
Oh, a little more than
It's
that.
called plagiarism.
Oh, that's hard. Okay. Let me see if I can do this. There we go. So, the ushers. The ushers would come forward, and this is our time to practice with our supply. And you know, the giving with an open heart, the giving with faith, the giving knowing that whatever you give will be given back to you, pressed down and running over. No stingy money. We don't want no stingy money. We want open-hearted. I'm so glad to give because I have been so served, and pray that you have been. So just hold your gift next to your heart. And if you have already pledged, then we automatically receive your money from your bank account. And you have those little cards that said I've already pledged. Just remember that choice, that decision that you made to support this community and to support your own spiritual growth. And realize that this act now also supports this community and supports your spiritual growth, especially when done with an absolutely open heart. So I give my thanks for all of the gifts that are to be received today, and so it is. Amen. So the song, I'm going to call Janet up right up here. This song is written by Janet, the tune by Karen Drucker, and there are some spoken parts that Janet will speak. You can't see them on this slide because they're in parentheses on the next slide. You don't sing those. So are we going to just sing it through first, or are we going to do the words?
We
the spoken
can
words.
start singing, and then we'll do it.
We'll see what happens?
See what happens.
Okay.
I am the infinite presence. I am the one in all. I am the truth in beauty, the answer to Spirit's call. I am the one within you.
Ever present, ever near.
I am the one you see.
Whispering softly in your ear.
In your heart there is a doorway.
Step through into the light.
The arms of you spirits call. I am the one within.
Ever present, ever near.
I am the one you see.
Whispering softly in your ear.
In your heart there is a doorway.
Step through into the light.
Arms of love await you with these golden wings. Take flight.
Oh, I bless all of the gifts of the last 5 minutes. And I know that they will bless this community and us individually forever. And so it is. Oh my goodness. Okay. I think, okay, so what's happening now?
Practitioners and prayers.
Practitioners, yes.
She's already in the new service order.
I had a little moment there. Practitioners, come forward. Let me tell you, please, to sign your name on a bunch of things today. What happens at Easter is that we have like sometimes 200 people here, and we have to have enough food for everybody. So pretty much you all have to bring food. So sign up for food, and if you need a prayer, see a practitioner, and come back next week for our new service. And now Marilyn's going to pray us out.
Practitioners, would you please surround the room with your loving consciousness? And I invite you all to close your eyes and go to that place within that always was and always will be. And from there, open your spiritual eyes and your heart to that one great life, that infinite shining sea of love, of light, of sound, of joy, of beauty, peace, power. Our loving Creator has given all. It's always, always, always there. This infinite sea in which we abide, which permeates everything. And I am part of this life. I am one. It beats my heart, breathes my breath. This is the reality of me and of every person. And so I speak my word into this power for a new opening to be created within every person. For that sublime awareness that it's already part of us. That the gifts are all given. And that we have to just to open unto them with our attention. It's right there. And so I give thanks and celebrate for the heaven within each person, and with the ability to create that more and more and more in our lives. I give thanks that this is so, and release this into the law, and so it is. Amen.
each moment. Blessed be.